I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
3, 2, 1. This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy Eternity Time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. I'm going to go with the flow today. I'm just going to go with the flow. We're going to see what comes up. I do have one thing planned that I will talk about in a few minutes, but we're just going to go with the flow. So, first things first, I did mention, I believe in the last episode, that I have developed a new method of past life regression. So, I just want to give you guys a little update on that. It's coming along. It's come along really nicely. I'm optimistic, guys. I'm optimistic that this is going to be something that's really different and really special. So once I feel that it is ready to be presented, I will present it. So not only am I revamping the process of past life regression that I've been actively working on for the last 9+ years now, but I'm also going to be revamping the podcast as well. We're coming on 4 years right now, and it's been a journey. I'm still not entirely sure the direction to take it. I think I've been playing it too safe in many respects. I also think that I've cared too much about entertaining instead of informing, and that needs to stop. I think the entertainment value, if we should call it that, will just come from the information that's being presented. And there's no need to try so hard. That's me speaking to myself right now. So I'm going in a couple directions with this right now where I'm just trying to see what the best lane is. And I've been teasing a season 5 for a while now. I'm still planning on releasing all those episodes, but I think they're going to be bonus episodes because I need to do something different. And I want to use 2 episodes as an example right now. And those 2 are the Flat Earth episodes that were released earlier this year. Now, I'd recorded those originally back in the fall of 2022, and it wasn't until the spring of 2025 that I released them. I had a lot of fear around releasing it for many reasons. One is just because of the topic. Another reason was, am I going to piss off this community out there that, will go to the grave defending their belief that the earth is flat? And the other part was I was afraid of the route that I may go down had I indulged in it more. Now, when I mean in it, I mean that type of episode. Because even when I look at the numbers for the podcast now, those 2 episodes are still routinely ranking within the top 3, even though we are 6 months out at this point. So it's usually the most recent episode that's been released. And then the next 2 are the Flat Earth episodes in terms of plays. So I think I was a little afraid to go down that route because I didn't know if I would have the self-control, we'll call it that, to not want to make it all about the numbers and to just do more episodes like that. I got to do more episodes like that. And it's not even about the numbers. It's purely, I have to. I just have to. I have to not be so afraid of letting the fear take the wheel. And I want to quote my favorite song right now, which is Drive by Incubus. I'm just going to give you guys the lyrics right now. Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear, and I can't help but ask myself how much I've let the fear take the wheel and steer. It's driven me before, and it seems to have a vague, haunting mass appeal. And lately I'm beginning to find that I should be the one behind the wheel. So that's the first verse, and I think it just rings very true to letting the fear take the wheel. And I have. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want this to be a place of ideas. I want this to be a space of conversation with those who I may disagree with, and I want to be challenged. I think I've been playing it too safe. I think I've been afraid of bringing on people who will challenge me, because how dare anyone challenge me on my timeless spirituality throne and dethrone me or threaten my throne because I am the emperor here. How dare they? Well, also being the emperor, I just don't invite them on. I think that needs to change. I think I need to stand up and challenge and be challenged. So with that, if you guys have any suggestions for guests, someone who you would like to see on here to challenge me or me challenge them, again, not in like a, well, you get what I'm saying. Let me know. Reach out to me. Just either reach out to me through the website, thepastliferegressionist.com, or on Instagram. Just send me a message. Let me know who that person is. I won't make any guarantees that I can get them on, but it's worth talking about. So with that, I want to share something with you guys that was shared with me a few days ago. Now, this person is someone who I'm very close to, but they don't want to really necessarily be attached to this, at least for right now. At a certain point, who knows, but I'm optimistic that they would be okay coming on and talking about it. And I'm using the they pronoun right now just because, just out of protection for them, although they do fall into one of the more traditional camps. So I want to go ahead and share that with you guys right now, and then we'll talk about it. Or I guess I'll talk about it. So it's untitled. Why today in the world that we find ourselves does it seem like the biggest way to make a difference is to die? Is it because that's when people truly listen to everything you've been saying? That's when people pay attention. There's nothing like words of wisdom from a dead man. Somehow in death, a man's words become wiser. And that has nothing to do with the content of those words. Those words were always wise. But it has everything to do with human perception. And collectively throughout history, time and time and time and time again, we have always listened to and respected the words of the dead more than we have the words of the living. Why? Why must I die to be heard? Why is death a prerequisite to being listened to and being respected? Why do the most brilliant words of wisdom matter more on the pages of dusty books than they do when they're coming out of the mouth of the source of that wisdom? Why? Maybe our free will has been setting a dangerous precedent for a long time. That the lesson that matters most only truly matters when the lips that spoke them are no longer taking in the breath to speak those words. When will we change the precedent on a collective, spiritual, and human level? Listen now, or else the precedent we set will continue. Death will continue. And if that continues, we will continue being completely incapable of gaining more wisdom and insight from the mouth of those who were sent here to speak it. We did this. We are doing this. And if we continue to do this, we will never achieve the growth, the transformation, and the peace that we all universally seek. Now, before, after, and forever, the choice is ours. And it's simple. Can we accept wisdom without blood? Will we be open to growth, to love, without sacrifice? How many more have to die before we start listening to the living? So what'd you think? Personally, I thought it was brilliant. I get it. There are parts of it that make me uncomfortable because that's the way I felt in my life many times. This feeling that I will only be truly heard and respected once I die. Because I think, like many of you who are probably listening, I felt like an outsider my entire life, and that my perspective doesn't matter because I don't have status and I don't have money and I don't have some prestigious formal education. And that's something that I really struggle with because I feel like my sense of worth is tied to the way that the world perceives me. And that's something that needs to change. I need to find that validation within and not seek it outside and not really care what the rest of the world thinks about who I am and what I have to offer. I think it's going to be easier said than done. But why I think this is relevant is because I think that also kind of ties into a lot of my reluctance to be challenged. Maybe I'm afraid of being seen as weak or less than because this is the only thing I have going for me. So what happens if that's taken away from me? And with what's gone on in the world in the last week, with the assassination that happened last week, I think we have a choice. Do we cower in submission? Or do we step forward and stand for what we believe in? Now, I know this is a spiritual podcast, but I do think that this is a spiritual matter, what happened. Because I think that this is something that will reverberate for many years to come. We don't need to go into politics. I think I've made it clear where I stand, at various times throughout the course of the last 4 years. And I will say, I disagreed with Charlie Kirk on a lot of stuff, but you gotta respect the way he went about most things. And he did it by questioning. He did it with dialogue. But again, he did it with questioning. It's almost like he had the mind of a philosopher. And you gotta respect that, even if you don't agree with what's being said. Because I don't think people are black and white. I think that there are many shades. I don't think that people are absolutes. There are many people we could look at right now and rattle them off and say this and that and this and that and this and that. And a lot of people be like, well, I hate that person because of this, and not taking other things into consideration. I think that's what I'm afraid of too. I'm afraid that what if they don't agree with my viewpoint? Are they going to hate me? I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. I need to stop caring about that. But again, that fear I've had has also been, wait, if I speak about these things, is someone going to kill me? Now that is ridiculous on its face, because am I really talking about things that are that threatening? I don't think so. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to take the show in a new direction. I think it needs to grow and it needs to evolve. Just like past life regression, just like many things. I think that there is always room for growth and evolution. I think I'm afraid to bring this new method out in the world because what if it isn't good? What if it doesn't work? What if someone tries to steal it? And what if it becomes massively successful when they steal it and put it under their name? And then I'm left with nothing. But then again, was it truly mine to begin with? Or was it something else or someone else that helped me with it? Whatnot. I guess we can dive into that more at a different time. But I can't let the fear take the wheel and steer anymore. So I guess with all of that, maybe I should get to the chorus of that song, Drive. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there, with open arms and open eyes. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a session with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.